Hello, Michele Blood. Welcome so much to the Miracles Happen Fertility Podcast.
Thank you, Dr. Maria.
I am, you used a word before I hit record, stoked. I am stoked to invite you to this interview today. Thanks so much for being here. You have a gorgeous story to tell, and we have a lot to talk about today. So we're going to dive right in, if we may. Can you just first say who you are and what you do?
Okay, my name is Michele Blood, and don't think I did that because I was a rock singer. That's my daddy's name, so blame him. It's Irish. In fact, one of the record contracts I had, they made me change my name because they said, you sound punk and you're not a punk singer, you're a pop singer. Anyway, but I ended up going back to it eventually because you can't forget a name like Michele Blood.
Nope. Very memorable. Yep.
So I started singing on TV from the age of 5. And eventually, I did a lot of different types of work in the entertainment industry, but eventually I was like, no, rock and roll is my thing. So I got a cover band together when I was just pretty young, and then, just did the ropes, did any little gig for free, whatever, until eventually I got this amazing band together after many years of so many different bands that I, get different musicians until you get the right tweaking, until you're all in synergy. It's really important. You can't have one musician not in synergy with you, because if one player is less than or is even out of tune, no one's going to hire you. But we were a really good band. We were very entertaining. And it was quite funny because all the guys in this band were over 6'2" and I'm 5 nothing. So that was sort of entertaining for people to watch. But at one stage, we got Time Warner, record label. We're doing videos, touring at one stage 7 years non-stop. We toured with the Pretenders, In Excess, you name it. We just were doing really great. We were just about to get an offer from Europe, or we had an offer in the waiting from a European, very large record label, which is what Australians always wait for, American or an European release, because you don't make any money otherwise. The money you make all goes to the road crew, the agents, all these different people. So anyway, my life was on course. I'd worked very hard to get where I was getting. I was the manager of the band, the singer of the band, the co-songwriter in the band, got everything together, the record labels, everything. Designed the videos with the record label. Just, it was amazing. But then on my way home from a gig that was a 12-hour drive, because the cities in Australia are many, many miles in between. So we're going from Brisbane to Sydney. We got to Sydney. The truck driver, I was in the truck as a passenger. He fell asleep, went into a telephone pole, and then I was completely crushed. Spine, hip, pelvis completely smashed, and all those little bones went into all the different organs in the bladder. And so that was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life, because it took me on I'm still an entertainer, still make albums, but it's just a different type of music and a different way of thinking, and got me deeply into meditation and finding an enlightened teacher and all the different things I've done since. I have to say thank you, universe, for that car accident. So that's how it all started. I can't hear you.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
I muted myself because I have dogs with me, by the way, and just in case they make some noise.
Well, you'll occasionally hear a meow as from my.
Okay, good.
So that's fine. let the children speak. It's all good.
That's right. They have a voice too.
They do, indeed.
Right. So what I was going to say was, I'm sure there's a ton more, right? The detail that we can talk about, but the theme of this is very similar to what I talk with folks about in terms of their fertility journey, because so it's not the same trauma, but it's still a hell of a lot of trauma. Yeah. And what I did for my doctoral research was on post-traumatic growth and how you can be a better human after trauma, right? Which is exactly what you're describing. Like I've blossomed because of this horrible thing, supposedly horrible, but it was actually an amazing thing. So now what are you doing?
Well, I'll just go into a little detail of what miracle happened to me while I was in the
Yes. Oh,
hospital, because
please.
that's the building block of the ladder from what happened from there. Was I was in the hospital for months and months and months, many long operations, and I heard about affirmations and auto-suggestion, and something inside of me just knew. You know, when you just know that
Yeah.
that's truth, that
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I decided to do an affirmation. I am healed. I know I am. I love myself. I am my friend, because none of those things were true.
Mhm.
So I had the perfect affirmation. It's an affirmation for those of you who don't know what an affirmation is, because I didn't know back then. It's something, a statement you say to yourself about yourself. It must be stated in the now. You can't say I will be, because the subconscious mind is going, well, I'll just sit here until, you say I am, because you will be. I don't know when that's going to be. There's only now. And so it's got to be stated in the now. I am something that you're not yet, but you want to be, as if you already have it. And they said, you have to emotionalize it for it to go into your subconscious mind. Now, back in those days, neuroscientists hadn't done all the studies that they've done now on short-term memory, long-term memory, and how healing through your mindset leads everything to success in any area of your life. It hadn't been proven. Today it's been proven, because back in the day when I was teaching, they would just go, I think it's a bit woo-woo, isn't it? This little blonde girl, she's just, out there. But now studies have been done. I've got lots of studies,
Yay.
John Hopkins to Berkeley and everything on my website to show how this works. But it didn't work for me. It did not work because my subconscious, my doubting mind, my short-term memory kept rejecting it. I am healed. I know I am. I love myself. I am my friend. Rejecting it. And it didn't believe it, because I'm in the hospital in agony, in traction, and waiting for the next operation. Doctor saying you probably never walk again if you do, blah, blah, blah. I mean, so it was very challenging. I couldn't emotionalize that. So about a month after that, after giving up on it, I had an epiphany. I'm a singer-songwriter. You can't get a song out of your head, even if you want to. Advertising agencies spend billions every year on, well-known songs or jingles, because then once you've got that song in your head, you've got their product in your head forever, even if you don't want to drive a Toyota.
Yep.
ABCs, the kids learn their ABCs through singing them. So I just said, I'll sing it. I'll put it on a cassette and I'll sing it. I am healed, I know I am. I love myself, I am my friend. Over and over and over again. To make a very long story short, that affirmation that I listened to in the hospital for months, that my mind healed. I immediately started coming up to a higher frequency. I could start seeing possibilities, and I wasn't being negative, but I said, well, if I can't walk again properly, I can still do A, B, C, D. I'm a songwriter. I can write for other bands. I can do stuff. I can produce people, and still sing,
Yes.
And after I got out of the hospital, I ended up writing tons of different affirmation songs just for me and my band, so that we could listen to them and have our mindset change for success, for persistence, for all the different things because I knew this affirmation worked. But then the media found out about it, because I'm a known singer in Australia, and then promoters, because of the media, because of TV and shows I was on talking about my healing, then they started coming to me. They said, we want you to tour with Deepak Chopra, with Bob Proctor, Wayne Dyer. And I said, I don't know who any of those people are. Because it wasn't in my periphery. I didn't need to be motivated, or, I just wasn't into it. I'd always believed in God, and I loved Catholic school. I was one of those rare Catholics that actually
I have never heard anybody say that.
I loved the nuns, and they loved me. I lived in the country, and they would have me sing at all their school of Stedvits and win all their school of Stedvits. And a school of Stedvit with the Catholics is where all your little students from that school compete against other schools and sing, and I would always win. And so they loved me. So I didn't have to recover from being a Catholic. I always loved it. So I always had that spirit within me. I mean, I loved it so much that I went to mass every morning with the nuns, And
Oh, wow.
I would cry because I didn't know about Buddha or Yogananda or anything. I'm a little girl. I just knew Jesus. And
Mhm.
so from a past life experience that I remembered that this is a saint. This is someone, really cool. And I was in love with Jesus. So that never left me. But
Oh,
anyway,
wow.
that I just wanted to share that part of it, because then what I went on to do is why I can talk about fertility and how you can call in a spirit, a soul, to come into your life, whether it's through adoption or through your actual body of giving birth. And I've
Mhm.
done that for many, many years. And so even Dr. Maria didn't know about that. So,
Nope, I
but
didn't know.
so that's why we wanted to talk about that as well.
Ah, I'm so excited too. Yes, I just learned about that, well, I don't know, a few minutes ago, right before we started recording. I'm like, "Wait, what?
Okay.
Yay, 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 yay." I'm also 5 foot nothing, FYI. We are the same.
Oh, well, if you can't be seen, you should be heard, right?
That's right. That's right. That's right. Out of curiosity, what did the physicians say? What was their response when you began healing? I'm curious.
Oh, well, it was many, many different reactions, definitely reactions. I was told, never to wear high heels again, blah, blah, blah. And one of the absolute miraculous things that happened, because I wouldn't listen to anyone, I was like, I'm going to walk again properly and I'm just going to go for it. And so they said, you've got to go to physiotherapy, blah, blah, blah. You'll eventually be able to walk okay. I did the physiotherapy in the hospital, but after that, I was just like, no, I don't need anything. I'm going to wear high shoes. I'm just going to go for it. So I wore high heels with crutches.
That's awesome.
and about 3 months later, I had to go for a checkup, and with one of because I had 3 different doctors did 3 different operations. So you have to go back to them. And I'm walking in these high heels, and he's like, what are you doing? And, and I said, well, I'm walking. And I said, I'm walking in my high heels. And he said, this is impossible. What is going on here? He's like, I feel like I'm just going to turn my head 360 degrees around. And he was the one who was looking after my fracture, which was right there. And it wasn't broken, but it was fractured.
Yeah.
And what he was so fascinated by what had happened, because I'd worn high shoes forever.
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, my brother said, I don't even think I've seen you walk out of a shower without high shoes of some description on. Anyway, what had happened, because I started wearing high shoes, and because my back was used to high shoes, it actually healed my back, because that's the way. Anyway, I won't go into the science of it, but he studied it because it blew him away. So yeah, they were pretty freaked out. And they said, we're not supposed to say it's a miracle, but when they were interviewed or someone said anything, they said, look, it is miraculous what happened. We're not sure, but I've seen miracles happen with people when we say something can't be done and then it can be done. So they were pretty open to not naysaying it.
At least that. Oh,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. Good. And they can't say that miracles happen. Why not? Come on, man.
I guess, legal, easily, legal
Yeah.
BS.
Oh, good times. Always the legal stuff.
Yeah, right.
Oh boy.
They've got to protect themselves.
So how did you come to do the spiritual things you were talking about? How, because you said, I don't know who Wayne Dyer is. I don't know who Deepak Chopra is. I don't know, they do self-motivating things, but also very spiritual things. How did you come to do that kind of work?
Well, it's interesting because one of the things that I realize now that happened is when you're doing affirmation songs, and I did visualization as well. What happens is your frequency, your vibration it's a speed.
Mhm.
It's a speed, and it becomes faster. And as it becomes faster, that vibration becomes faster, your consciousness becomes clearer. And we're all like, we've got this divine, let's say, diamond, and we can't feel it. It is our higher self. We can't feel it because we're vibrating at a lower oscillation. And when you start vibrating at a faster oscillation, a frequency that you can actually hear after many years of meditating, well, then this becomes clearer, and you begin to feel your higher self. Your intuition becomes stronger and stronger. And so what happened to me was, because I was doing this music all the time and I was working at this stage, Bob Proctor and his wife Linda had just said, we want you to tour all over the world with us. Dr. Chopra said, do these affirmations for kids, come out, so now that's why millions of people have listened to my music, and Marcy Shermoff and all Tony Robbins, all these people play my music at their gigs, and so it's sort of become like a big deal. But what happened was I was really searching, because I started living in Kuala Lumpur because Bob Proctor had his business running from there. I ended up running his business, getting hit records that I didn't even want to know about, got a band together, I had backing dancers, I was doing everything, seminars, but all my music from then on, even when it was like a full song and not just an affirmation song, was all positive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my old songs like "Be a Dust Without You, Baby, I Can't Live," "If Only We Could Be Together," some of my best known songs. So I decided to do all positive songs. But I started feeling this heart glow, Maria. I just felt this like, what is this? My heart's out of my chest. I feel like it's glowing. And I was on a search to find out what that was. I knew it was God, but I didn't know what enlightenment was, really. I'd only ever known about Jesus. And so I started reading. The first book I read that really got me, like, wow, was Biography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. I love you, Yogananda. And then Swami Muktananda's A Play of Consciousness. I started reading all of these books, and I knew that was who I used to be and who I was. And so I started meditating, and I didn't have a teacher or anything. It's very hard when you don't have a teacher to know exactly what to do. You're reading a book, you're doing this, because it really is important to get light transmitted to you as you are meditating. So I started looking all over the world, Japan so many times, India, looking for what I thought would be my guru. Would have to be an old Asian man, either bald or with long gray hair.
Clearly.
No, after 14 years of looking, I found an enlightened teacher in America, 10 years younger than me. And I couldn't believe this woman, this gold light coming from her hands. I could feel tingling straight away in the top of my head. I went off the grid for 12 years and studied with her, and eventually became awakened myself. So that's how that happened. A lot of work, but I was determined to know God like she did before I left the body. I was like, that's my purpose. Enlightenment is my purpose. So that's what happened.
Oh my goodness. I want to talk forever about that. How then, coming back to, after 12 years, coming back to, quote unquote, regular life, what changed? How was it different? What did you notice? How did you experience life differently?
Well, what changed was that I could see everything. I could see who people were. I could see the beauty in love in everything and everyone. And I realized that I have to teach or do something. So I started experimenting. For the first 2 years, I experimented. I would have people's photographs and I would do prayers. I'd always loved to pray. I would do a special prayer for whatever they had asked for. Unless I was guided, I was so guided. No, you can't pray for that person. You can't pray for them to have someone fall in love with them, or to that. You can't do anything about relationships, just harmonious relationships. And I would do it for free, or I would just say, put a donation in PayPal if you like what's happened. And after 2 years, there were like 98% after 2 years of people saying, yes, it worked. Yes, your prayers worked. And I started experimenting more and more with light transmissions. Then I started teaching meditation live. I opened a meditation studio in San Diego, and I started doing them. Just, people pay $5 to come in or whatever. And then eventually what happened was people from all over the world, I started doing YouTube videos and meditating and teaching them about karma, about all the things that I knew about now, because you get downloaded all the information. You remember everything from the past. I started teaching about deep mysticism, and people were coming out of the woodworks from all over the world. I've got students who don't even speak English, but they feel the light. They feel it. And so they want to get the light transmissions, and they want to have the prayers. And so now I've got something called the Mystical Experience, where I teach people all over the world anything they want to know about, because anything that they want to know about, even if I don't know about it, even if it's scientific, the omniscient wisdom, because my diamond is there, just comes through, and I know what to tell them. It's not like a psychic thing. It's direct divine everything.
Yeah.
And it's just, you realize that you just, all this huge tapestry of light, everybody, and everyone can be released from suffering. Anyone who is sad and they really, really want to have a baby, or this is what happened the first time. This was the first 2 years. An Indian couple came to me. Can I keep talking about this?
Please do.
An Indian couple came to me and they emailed me because I'd put out, to all the old people. I still had an email list, even though they hadn't heard from me for years. So I emailed out to everybody. That's one of the things I noticed was incredible. My friend John Indara ended up going into business with me. He's the one who told me about her because he'd been studying with her teacher who'd left the body. So he's my business partner, and he's brilliant at doing websites and IT and everything. So he took over that part. He started helping me get my name out there by doing all these YouTube videos. And so people, I would tell them how to come to me. This Indian couple came to me. I ended up actually calling them, not just an email. I said, okay, I want to know the whole story. What's going on here? That had 7 miscarriages. And they were just desperate for their own baby. There was something spiritually within them that understood that there was a baby there. And so I just knew what to do. And I did a prayer with them on the phone. And I went into meditation, I did a prayer with them, and I called for the soul. I said, there is a soul out there that is waiting, longing to be born to a highly spiritual Hindu couple. And I know that you're out there. And I know that you are going to be a teacher to these 2 people. You are going to be immersed and looked after totally. You're going to be able to do your own spirituality. You're a very high being. This is the couple for you. Come to them. And I got them to visualize that every day as well. And when I would gaze her picture, I would just see her pregnant, holding a baby. I would visualize it. And 10 months later, they had their first little baby girl. And they said, she is so spiritual. Since then, they've had 3 more kids, and I've continued to do that for them. So they've had 3 boys and 1 little girl. And that's how I started getting into it and realizing you can call these souls into being because they are waiting. There's just no, if people understood, it's an infinite amount of souls that want to come to this particular dimension and have a human experience, because this is a particular dimension where you have your Kundalini there. It's all ready. There's so many, everything is ready for you to become awakened. And when you are a soul that wants enlightenment, you want to get out of the other dimensions. You want to go into it. You want to have a real experience. Well, it's not really real, but it feels like it's real. And so you can feel them out there. Like you could feel those twins you were talking about.
Yes.
You can feel them out there, and they're just like, they've been invited in, and you're transmitting light to them at the same time, and they know exactly who they are. And it's just an incredibly magical, miraculous experience when you see these things. And I know it's got nothing to do with me. It's just that
That's right.
I'm on.
That's right. You're receiving.
And I am receiving. I am used by the light, and I love to be used by the light. It is the greatest privilege, the most humbling thing you could do. And it's when teachers say, oh, it's because of me. I'm like, well, you don't bow to the person. And so many times I was wondering why a little Aussie rock singer became enlightened. But it's like it's like with my teacher. She used to be an actress or something, and she did stuff for cosmetic places. And she met her teacher and realized that was what she wanted to do. She studied with him until he left the body. And 2 years after he left the body, she became enlightened. But it's because the divine does things in certain eras of time. And because, I was a perfect example. I didn't think anyone was enlightened unless they were old and Asian.
Right. With the beard and tail. Apparently.
Yeah. And so it's a way for people to understand that if I can have it happen, anybody can. And that's why I have doctors, dentists, lawyers, musicians, people from over 32 countries now are my students, from all walks of life. And in business, entrepreneurs, because people think, oh, you have to be woo-woo and young and into, oh my God, having smokes and stuff to be mystical. And it's the opposite. You have to be strong. You have to be focused. Meditation practice is a very, very serious focus. It's not and go to sleep. You know, you've got to go into the silence, and it's not an easy thing to do.
Oh, it's horrible.
People who say, oh, it's easy. It's easy. They're just trying to sell you something, because it is not easy.
No.
It's the hardest thing in the world. Yep. Really. But if you want it enough and you want to see the changes, and once you see those changes through meditation practice that really do happen, you start having a spectacular experience. You're never bored or depressed again. You start seeing things and opportunities that you never saw before. You want to with all of your heart, and you do help people. Well,
yes.
Well, I don't like the word help. Assist people, because you will not tolerate suffering anymore in your world. You just will not tolerate it. So you do everything that is possible to do to relieve suffering from anyone or anything, with no judgment. Who are we to judge? Who are we to judge? The first time I went to Santa Monica, when I first came to America, I saw this drunk on the ground with a sign that said, let's be honest, I just need a drink.
Yep.
So I was like, here mate, here's $10. It's like, you don't judge people and say, oh, you're just, making their addiction worse. But if they're that bad and they're homeless, anything that's going to relieve their suffering, I just had to, I'm just saying, I'll go to any length.
Right. Well, and there is some medical stuff around, being, having alcohol addiction, and you can't just cold turkey, because it will kill you. So I wouldn't be surprised if you saved his life that day. There's so much that I want to dive into here, Michele. Seriously, I think I could talk all day with you. I'm curious, for folks who have zero idea about any spiritual stuff, what does transmitting light mean?
Okay, transmitting light is this. Okay, we talked earlier about a frequency.
Yes.
I could talk for hours just on how this works.
Yes.
When your Kundalini has been awakened, there's an ethereal tube called the Sushumna that's blocked. Like I said, the diamond is blocked, and you've got the Kundalini at the base of the spine. And eventually, after many years of meditation and having a teacher who has that light, like Yogananda would transmit light, and he would just, all you do is you have the intention and the prayer for the person, and you invite that Kundalini up from their head. And it's just, anytime I even think of someone, they're getting light transmitted to them immediately. Even just if there's an email that comes in, it just happens automatically now. And they start, and they're like, what's going on? When they come to my events, I'm feeling tingling, what's going on? They start crying, and that's what I did when I first met my teacher, because you're in a different dimension, because the teacher is in a different dimension, because they've been in a samadhi and they've gone through that Stargate so many times. And so you're actually getting the transmission, and you don't have to have faith. You don't have to believe in it. I have people that have been healed who don't even ever know, because their wife or sister or brother or someone had me transmit light. They never know it's been done. So that you don't have to have faith. You don't need to know. And what that does is it invites the Kundalini up. It helps activate your chakras. Everyone's chakras are closed. You can't go to a healer and they're like, but your chakra's like closed. I'll open it. No, you have to do that. Happens from within. No one else can do that for you. Not even the teacher. You have to. The teacher transmits light, but you have to do the work, the meditation. But that helps 100 million%, because I meditated for years before I met her, and within 2 years of working with her, I was going into samadhi, which I'd never been able to go into before her. So I just thank God for her every day of my life. Her spiritual name is Kundalini. She doesn't actually teach anymore, but if she ever decides to teach again, I'm going to tell the world about her, because she's my lifesaver.
You better run fast. Yeah. And so for folks who aren't awakened, who don't know any of this, and who are really struggling to conceive or even, believe there's a soul out there that they can call in, what's something that they can do right now, like today, to
Well,
start?
I'm going to give. I'll give you a link in a minute where I'm gifting you guys over $200 of the best products that I've ever done, and some that I've done with the great and late Bob Proctor, that will explain in a very simple way. Keep it simple and spiritual. It'll teach you how to visualize, how to begin. There's a video on practice of meditation, my Magic of Affirmation Power book, talking about all the different ways that you can meditate, and talking about all the different layers of how it works and how you can begin in a very simple way. Keep it simple and spiritual. And so if they go to micheleblood.com, MICHELEBLOOD.com/miracles happen, you can download all of those for free. And to start with, just experiment by listening to the affirmation pop music. Just listen to it
It's really cool, by the way.
while you're washing up or whatever, and your frequency, because I always meditate on that music, so it's always clean. Because music can become very unclean. I had somebody come to me and she was listening to this older music and she was feeling sick, and I said, because too many people have listened to it for too many years and it's not clean anymore. You have to clean it through someone who's enlightened, meditating on the music. Then it becomes clean. You get a transmission just listening to the music. So just listen to the music and know this. There are all the studies that I could possibly find on how this works, how your mindset actually does create your reality. And I would encourage you, if you don't believe in this sort of thing, John Hopkins, Berkeley, I mean, just so many. Read the studies on micheleblood.com. There's studies from all of these amazing universities. So even if you don't believe it, you maybe believe in science, don't you? You believe in science. So let science be your faith for now. And then just know that you have the capability to be able to visualize happy things. You can make a visual board. You can see yourself holding your baby. You can make a visual board of you actually with a baby, with your head on someone else's body or something, and visualize it and put hearts and pictures of God or whatever, signs or whatever you perceive, or just love, divine love. And just know that if it's the right divine thing for your life and for that child or children will come to you through adoption, through foster care, or through you conceiving. Everything is possible. There are so many children that are longing to have a parent, and you can bring them into your life. Don't doubt, and don't be disappointed if you can't have it naturally. Adopt. They're all just your own children. We're all connected. And if a spirit has decided where they were born was just wrong for them and that they had a higher consciousness, well, they'll come to you. Just ask Angelina Jolie.
They will. Right. I'm getting chills right now because it makes me think of my own kids. It's really true. They're going to make their way to you.
Oh yeah.
No matter how. It could be surrogacy. It could be, a cousin who has a child and they can't take care of them. And now, you get to adopt, whatever. It doesn't really matter. They will make their way to you.
They absolutely will, because you've already made a decision, a pact to be together in between lives.
Yes.
When you're spirit, you have made a pact that you are going to be born. I'm going to come to you. And we all do that with our parents and with everybody. And that's why it's important for us to never blame parents for anything.
I know.
Because we have decided to be with them. So it's important to love those family members so that you don't have to be reborn with them again if you don't want to be.
That's true. That's one of my favorite stories by Wayne Dyer. I don't know if you've heard that before, but he and his daughter were arguing, and he said, you chose this. You chose me. And she's like, what? I must have been in a hurry.
Wayne is so funny because I toured all over Australia with him and Deepak Chopra. And it was so funny. The very first gig I ever did with them, I didn't know who they were. And Deepak was in the green room and I'm waiting off stage to, he's working out which affirmation song he wants me to sing before he comes on so that he can pick out a song that's to do with what he's going to talk about, one of my songs. And I said, so you're one of the speakers as well? And he started laughing. And I said, look, this is all new to me. I said, I'm a rock singer.
Uh-huh,
And
uh-huh.
he started laughing, and it was so funny. Stuart Wilde was also on that tour, the great and late Stuart Wilde, and he's so irreverent and amazing. And so we'd go to these restaurants after the seminars in different cities, and Stuart Wilde would always say to Deepak, because Stuart had order all this French champagne and stuff. Wayne Dyer had stopped drinking at that stage.
Yeah.
And Wayne Dyer was like, I would like a non-alcoholic beer. And they would say, this is Australia, mate. We don't have non-alcoholic beer. So Stuart Wilde would be ordering Cristal champagne and all this stuff. And every night he would say, and Deepak's the richest, he's paying for it. And Deepak would just pay for it. On the road with the boys. I've always been on the road with the boys, and it doesn't matter who they are. They're all fun. They're all like musicians. These speakers are just like musicians to me. They're all irreverent and funny, and
I was just gonna say that. It sounds just like traveling with a rock band, right?
Yeah,
Like just
yeah.
good time.
Except you don't have to go and set everything up.
Oh, well, there's that. Right. Oof, and lug everything around.
Just have to sound check. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, much easier on the nervous system. Yes. Hey, can you talk a little bit more too about, because obviously your music is about visualizations and being the thing that you want to have in your life, right? Can you talk? I saw your website where you were talking about the difference between a true like meditation and visualization. How are they different?
Well, see, I know you're just saying this so I can give it a point of view to your viewers.
Yeah, and they might not know, right? Like,
yeah. Okay, so guided visualization, some people call it a guided meditation, and they say, oh yeah, I've been meditating for years, but they haven't been meditating. They have been going into a relaxed mode, and it's a very good thing to do. Relaxed guided visualization is very powerful. I have many guided visualization programs and products, and so that's not meditation. Meditation is having no thought. You have to be totally in tune in the now. And there are many different techniques. And one of the products that I'm giving you guys for free is the practice of meditation video, which goes from beginners to people that have been doing it for a while, but they want to go deeper. So you can go through that video, and that's one of the free products you'll be receiving if you go to the link. I encourage you to.
perfect.
And so meditation practice is a very focused thing. You're focusing totally. You can focus by visually, like looking at Yogananda, for example, or a painting of Babaji or Jesus, and going into their eyes. When you gaze something, when you really gaze something, there is no thought. There are many different techniques I teach to stop you from thinking. Because once you stop thinking, because the mind is, like they call it, the monkey mind, going down the rabbit hole. You think of one thought, another thought follows, another thought. And this is why people interrupt each other so much when they're having what they call a conversation, because the mind immediately, oh, you've got a Volkswagen. Didn't my mother have a Volkswagen? Oh, you broke your leg. What happened to me? What can I talk about myself to do with, you want to always talk about something that they've talked about. Oh yeah, well, that happened to me too. And the mind is just crazy. It just goes into its big computer and wants to spit out all this information, which is just useless. So you don't want to be thinking of the past. You don't want to be thinking of the future. You want to be thinking of nothing. Just be in the moment, feel your heart, and just feel. The most important thing with meditation practice is before you begin, I teach Kriya Yoga breathing as well. It's really important both nostrils are clear, so you can breathe through both, because the Ida and the Pingala along the spine has to be clear. And people are only breathing through one nostril, and they don't realize it. So you clear out your nostrils. I teach you how to do that as well. Cool. Get the tissues out, make sure it's all clear. And that's what Yogananda and Babaji been teaching for years. It's just breathing. It's not some big dark secret Kriya Yoga. It's just knowing how to clear out both nostrils. But anyway, I won't get into that. You have to be so special to learn Kriya Yoga. No, you don't. You just have to have a bloody nose. That's all. Not a bloody nose, but just a nose. And then after you've done some deep breathing, then the most important thing is you start to feel gratitude. You have to be thankful. You start to feel it. You've got to feel thankful, grateful to someone or something. That is vital, because then you can start quietening your mind, because I'm thankful for my beautiful, thank you. Even saying the word gratitude doesn't always work, because people don't use that in their vocabulary usually. I have gratitude for this cup of tea. No, someone's giving you a cup of tea, you go, thank you.
Yes.
So a more powerful way is just say, thank you for my beautiful life. Thank you for my health. Thank you for the cup of tea. It's just, it just works better than gratitude.
Yes. I'm just reminded of the first time, because I started meditating because nothing else was working, and I wanted to prove it wrong. That's the angle that I came from.
You go, girl.
Yeah, I was like, fuck this is dumb, but I'll try it, 'cause everything else has not worked, so I'm just gonna try it. So I sat there, and I'll never forget, it was a period of time, right, of months of meditating, and I just had a ding, a little bit of like, but then my mind went, that's it. Oh my God, that was it. And then I lost it. But you're right, with the gratitude or the thankfulness, it really was over time. It began to be like, oh my God, I've missed out on all this beauty. Oh my, look at those bees buzzing around that lavender. How stunning is that? The tiniest things everything's beautiful. Even when my dog throws up in the bed like he did the other night. It's like,
right.
Okay, well, his body knows exactly what to do. How beautiful is that, right?
Like, yeah, one of my cats chooses the bed. I've got this beautiful cat grass out, in what I call a catio, because they don't go outside. But they're outside, but they like view, it's cat TV. They're outside, but they're not outside.
Fantastic.
Anyway,
yep.
And so grass stains. It's like, good job, babies, good job. Because I know that her body is, getting rid of fluffy things. It doesn't need to be there.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And it does become, it's even less, like, okay, well, that happened. And it's really like, wow, look at the majesty in this and the miracles in this, right? Like everything becomes just like this, woo, if you want to call it woo woo, okay, that's what it feels like. It's amazing.
Magic. It's magic.
Yeah. Okay. So here's something that I get asked all the time. So I'm going to ask you this. Do you just go around like always perfection and ethereal and connected and are you always like that? Or do you like crash and like friggin' A, life sucks today? Does that ever happen?
I'm not all ethereal. Thank God. Who wants to be a bloody saint?
Boring.
No. I love my life. I love my irreverence, and I love the students, and I am. But I have to admit, I always was really happy, like a happy kid, and just always happy. But now it's just sometimes the joy is so much you don't even realize there's tears coming down.
Yes.
But and I've just attracted into my life the most amazing people to work with and students, and my life is magical and shit. Yeah. Yes. I'm always happy. It doesn't mean that I don't lose energy, because I'm do so much work with people. Sometimes so much is given to someone. I'll need a break for a couple of hours before, like a couple of weeks ago, I was doing a Zoom with this lady to help her, and she needed so much help to bring her down off the mountaintop, off the cliff, that I just said to the divine, just give her everything I've got. And I was sick for about an hour and a half, but then I had to go and do a podcast, and I was great. I was fine again, because that's one thing. My energy can be drained sometimes through just saying, give it to this person, give it to them, heal them. But then because of enlightenment, because of the continuous energy coming up and down the Sushumna, the Kundalini, that heals me. It clears my energy. It clears my aura. So I'm very blessed. If it gets to the stage where I'm really, really needing a break, well then, I'll watch a funny movie or something, and then I'm good as gold again.
Ah, yes, there are various ways to regenerate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, what can folks expect, right? Because here we're talking about people who are struggling to build their family. And it's this thing that's, against quote unquote supposed to be so easy and natural. But these folks are really struggling. And I personally was, and I know this, right? I was personally very depressed. I was suicidal. It was so difficult. What can folks expect from your point of view when they begin transitioning to, wait a minute, everything is light, I can call in this soul to be in my life? What can folks expect when they start that work?
Well, my advice is to expect nothing. Always
Ah,
expect nothing.
love it.
Never expect anything, because when you have expectations, you are building a brick wall in your consciousness for it
Mm.
not to happen. Expectations are not to be expected, because it's just, you just let it go. It's like when you're visualizing, you want to have something, and like a new car, or a beautiful me living in this gorgeous place in the mountains. You visualize it, but then you let it go. And you don't ask where it's going to come from or what you've got to do. You don't use your willpower and become more constipated. You
Yep.
you let go. Once you've put the thought out there, you let go. You don't, like when I pray for people, I don't call them next day and go, "Are you healed yet?"
Right.
you know.
Right.
So you do the work, and then you let it go, and you just go, "Thank you. Whatever's for my highest divine good, I trust in that. I absolutely trust in that.
That
And
part.
whatever's not for my highest divine good, don't be in my life." you know?
Yeah. You are invited out. Yes.
Yeah, because otherwise we become reactionary. We start, going into the future instead of being in the present moment. And in the present moment is where all the magic is, where all the light is. So even though it's very, very challenging thing to say, don't expect anything. Just do your prayer and let it go. Let it go. You've heard let go and let God.
Yep.
Well, that's a good saying. Let go. And if you don't like the word God, because we don't want to have duality, because God, the divine, is your higher self, is your diamond, just say, I
Mhm.
let go and I let love
There you go.
rule. I let love rule. You rule, love. You rule, love. High five, love.
Yeah. Right. You don't have to be this mysterious soul. It's like, what's up? Yeah. Thank you, love.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I really do. It's like, it, physical, tangible things can be created in this way, right? Like my husband is now on board because so much magic has happened. And when we went to look at this house that we're in, it sat on the market forever, but then we made an offer and somebody made an offer ahead of us and that was accepted. So he was so disappointed. And I was like, it's exactly how it's supposed to be. But he's like, oh man, the house. I was like, listen, babe, this is what's going to happen. We're putting this out in the universe. In a few weeks, the real estate agent is going to call us and say that offer fell through. Would you like a house? And he was like, okay, I can feel that. I can feel that. He took his truck and he parked it. It was an empty house. He parked it in the driveway, took a picture so that it would
Ah,
help him. Right?
that's what to do.
Yes.
Put
2 weeks
yourself in the
later.
picture. Put yourself in the picture. Very, very good.
That's right. And two
Good
weeks
husband.
later,
Good
that's
boy.
right.
Good boy.
He's learning. Yay. No, he's fantastic. But 2 weeks later, we got the house. Like we were
Yay.
told that exact scenario.
Of course
So
you did. You're a magical being. You are, Dr. Maria.
just of course. And P.S., that's also the feeling that I got when my son came to us,
Oh,
because it was like, well, of course, that's how I've been living. This is truth. This is always how it's been. It wasn't a surprise. It wasn't I mean, it was excitement or whatever, but it still was like this underlying, well, duh. I mean, that's how I've been living. Right. And so that's truly what you were saying before about acting as if or living as if, like this is already how it is, not I want or I will be.
and throw out your old stuff, everybody.
Yeah.
Because when you're living with old stuff, always bring in something new pillows, new sheets. Take out your old clothes, because otherwise you're going to keep having the energy of the old you. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, no, go ahead. No, please. Your
No,
wisdom is very needed. So keep going.
yeah, I just, people don't understand how things hold energy, clothes and different things. That's why I say to my students, every 6 months, get a new pillow. And if you can't, even if you can't afford a new pillow, put it in boiling hot washing machine, a little bit of bleach, and then another soak through with some detergent, another soak through with some fabric softener, put it in the dryer, because you're holding the energy of all your old dreams, And like a really good friend of mine just did his bedroom up with just beautiful sheets and new pillows and everything, new doona, well, comforter you call them here. And he said, I'm having these beautiful, happy dreams now. He said, it's changed me so much. My dream plane has changed. And so, when you're wearing something and you don't want to throw it out, or maybe I'll fit into this again one day.
I've never done that. Nope, never.
Any of those things. Well, what you do when you get rid of your old clothes, you don't give them to the poor. The poor don't want your old shit, your old crap. They do not. If you want to give something to someone who doesn't have anything, go to Target, get some inexpensive new clothes, children's clothes or whatever, then take them to the Salvation Army or St. Vincent de Paul or whoever. And you don't want people to have your old clothes either, because energetically you're going to feel them when they're wearing them, and you don't know who that person is. We're all so connected energetically. There's so many things we can do. I've got a course, an online course called, I've got so many. What is that course called? Advanced Mysticism. It's a 6-week course, and it goes through little things to do every week that clear the energy from your home, from your consciousness, from your space. And it is so easy to do. People don't understand how all of a sudden they're living in a new home, brand new home.
Wow.
And if your energy in your home is really, I can say fucked, right?
Yeah, of course.
Well, then you've got to paint your house.
Oh my God. I'm picking that shit up. Yep.
You've got to paint your house. And so when I bought this house, got it before I even moved in, I had the painters come in. I've got gold walls and blue, and then it wasn't until about 3 years later that I got the outside painted a beautiful yellow and white. It's gorgeous. And after the outside was painted, everything from whoever lived here before was completely gone. It was like a brand new energy. It was amazing. It's miraculous. So I'm just saying.
Gosh.
So even if you just start with your bedroom and the toilet, 2 places you live and sleep and release and let go.
Yes, literally. Yes.
And paint it, and in your bathroom, it makes you feel so good. The shower and the water is magical. It cleans your aura. So I always bow to my shower, the water coming through. I go, oh, thank you. I love you, water. You're so beautiful. And then, get new mats. I just ordered all these new bright lemon mats and everything for my bathroom, bright lemon bath towels. Have your house vibrant and as zen as you can get it.
Yes. Oh my, I've never thought of the pillow. Never, not once.
Well, I'll get Trevor to send you, or Johnny can do it. I'll send you that course, that 6-week course.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
Because it's so much fun as well. And I go through and do those things myself every year. I'm like, what did I say to do next?
I know. I also love what you said too about, that there's a humility about doing this work, right? Because it's not us. It's being done through us, but it's not us, right? And so I love that. Like, what did I say next? Is really like, what did they say to do?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, I love it. I adore it. Again, I could talk to you for like hours and hours and hours, and probably days. So I am just going to say thank you. So much gratitude to you, Michele. Thanks so much for your wisdom today.
Add one little thing?
Of course.
We have just launched our first app. We've spent a year and a half on it. It's got 63 beautiful positive affirmations you can just listen to all day long. It's got notifications, musical notifications. It's called magnettomoneyapp.com, magnettomoneyapp.com. And it's just for iPhones at the moment, but we've had these developers and people, it's just incredible. It's so high and happy. And it's only 99 cents a month. The other places they They don't charge much, $5 or $10, but we decided to make it as little as possible. So
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
it's
fantastic.
a really cool thing for consciousness.
Oh, yes. And you have a song, Magnet to Money.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that song. Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic. Well, all of these resources will be on the show notes too for folks to just click
Thank you.
on super easily. I appreciate them so much, and you and the higher beings, God, source, universe, whatever words folks want to use. Words are so limiting.
Well, they're just hanging out right now. I can feel it so strongly. It's so crazy.
Yes.
My head's just zoom, zoom.
My,
It's like, whoa.
I know, mine too. And I
Oh.
want people to feel that so much. When I do spirit baby work, I'm like, gosh, please feel it.
Yeah, it's
so
just
good.
It's better than anything in the world. You know, it's worth all the effort you ever put in for any spiritual growth. It's worth it because you are changed.
You are, for the better. And then you're
Yeah.
able to assist,
Yes.
right? You're able to pay it forward.
Then you're a strong enough swimmer to go out, bring them
Love
back
it.
into the shore. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. As a person from Australia, that makes total sense with the shore thing. Michele,
Get away
thanks
from
so
them
much.
sharks.
I know.
bloody annoying things on the beach.
Or the sharks are drawn to you because of your light. I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, I wouldn't swim in an ocean in Australia these days. There's so many sharks. It's just crazy.
No.
Anyway, whatever.
I'll pass.
Pass.
I'll pass.
Thank you, Dr. Maria. You are awesome.
much,
I have
Michele.
loved every moment of this, and we'll meet again for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait. It's on its way. It's on its way.
It's on its way.